Baby, oh, we live now. What's up? What's up? What's up? Let me give the Surviving Vegan community some time to come on in. Come on in the room. You're live with the #1 vegan transformation brand, Surviving Vegan, aka I am Surviving Vegan, aka the front is for entertainment, the back is for education, aka health can be used to manifest wealth, aka detox to manifest, aka build your abundance.
Make sure you sound good. Make sure everybody can hear you.
Y'all can hear me? I mean, I can't, I won't be able to tell. Can y'all hear me?
I'm watching it in the chat.
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Shout out to Grizzly the God because he got me on the whole setup right now, y'all. He got me on the whole setup.
Facebook right now. Facebook is going
And
live.
he got me like with the Canon cameras. And he got me live on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Shout out to Grizzly the God. What would I be without that beautiful Virgo in my life? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Shout out to y'all in the chat that's vibing with me. Drop some flames in the chat. Again, you are rocking with Surviving Vegan. I'm Surviving Vegan, aka Health is Wealth, aka front is for entertainment, back is for education, right? I appreciate y'all for joining us. I'm super excited because for the entire month of August, we will be focused on children's health. Are y'all excited about that? Give me some spirit fingers if you're excited about that. Give me some spirit fingers. Do I look like amazing right now? Because Grizzly got the cameras on and I don't see how I look, right? But I hope I look good, right? But as I was saying, for the entire month of August, we are focused on children. Children. We're going to be talking about ADHD, autism, structure, discipline, communication, recipes. We're going to be talking about everything that it takes to build a healthy foundation for your child. So I'm super excited about that. If you have not texted me yet, send me a text message and be like, what's up, Surviving Vegan? I'm rocking with y'all and I want more information because on August 20th, we're going to do a virtual conference. And if you've ever been a part of the Surviving Vegan conferences, drop again some flames in the chat for me. Drop some flames in the chat. Drop some flames in the chat. If you've ever been a part of our conferences, you know that we go all in 4 to 6, sometimes 8 hours of straight training, straight information. And we got some heavy hitters, some surprise guests that are going to be joining us. But I wanted to come live because I am making a commitment myself to go live every single day. It's something that I've never done before, but I'm super excited about it because I want to connect with y'all more. I want to see y'all beautiful faces. Like every day, I need y'all to see me and I need to see y'all, okay? So I'll try to go live around 10:30-ish. What time is it now? It's 10:51. I'll try to go live between 10:30 and 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So y'all make sure y'all join me. Right, make sure y'all join me. And yesterday's topic was communication, right? How to communicate with your child, how to help them to communicate with each other, what communication is. And I kind of want to talk about the birthing aspect of this, right? I put a post up today on Instagram. If you're not following on Instagram, I'm Surviving Vegan on Instagram, okay? Make sure you follow the real account, not a scam account, right? Don't allow people to scam you. Don't allow the people to scam you. All right, don't allow the people to scam you because they will do that. Right, so today I want to talk about the birthing experience because I put up a video and I was talking about the different types of birthing trauma. And some people were kind of like confused or they felt attacked. I just want to be real clear. Nothing I post is ever to attack anybody. Right? I do say some things with a lot of love and passion that's only to get you to move and to get you to pay attention. I'm never, ever trying to attack anybody, okay? But I understand some of those posts that I put up can be triggering. Specifically, the post I put up today about the birth experience seemed to be a little triggering to some people, and I kind of want to talk about that. Can we talk about that? Let's talk about it in the comments. Let's talk about it in the comments. I Am Highness Bay said they got emotionally triggered. Let's talk about it. First of all, let's understand. To my minority black and brown community, please let's understand the basis that this medical system was built on. Okay, we have to understand these things, especially not only pediatrics, but also gynecology. Okay, built on the backs of slaves. Okay, built on the backs of slaves. So if we understand these things and we look at statistics of mothers going into labor, or mothers in general, or women in general, saying, specifically African women in general, saying, you know, I don't feel right, or something's not right, and being ignored by the medical system, that's not just happening just because, right? That's not happening just because. That is because the nature of this system was built on your pain, right? So we just got to be clear about that. We do have some great doctors, some great nurses, some great RNs, right? Some great administrative workers. Shout out to y'all. We appreciate y'all because y'all are needed. But let's not forget, okay, where we're coming from and what we are dealing with. So we have to realize that we got to call a spade a spade. When it comes to the music, when it comes to the TV, when it comes to the food, all of it is toxic in nature. Your baby's first experience in this world is traumatic for so many newborns. For myself, as a mom, birthing my first 2 children in the hospital, it was traumatic. I don't even remember half of it. I felt like a freaking lab rat. It's not comforting at all. It wasn't then. That was 2012. It wasn't comforting at all, right? And I want you to realize that the way we are birthing children today, this modern way of birthing our babies, is abnormal. Like, it's totally abnormal. Number one, you should not have your baby while laying on your back, okay, against gravity. I think we all kind of agree with that, and we kind of know that now, or remember that now. That's the better term, remember, right? We're all remembering that now. But the way that we are birthing our babies with medication, with certain type of medical tools, there are ramifications for that. Now, granted, some people say, well, Arisha, listen, I had to have my baby this way, or I was told I had to have my baby this way. I'm not neglecting that fact. Okay, I'm not neglecting that fact. But we still have to realize that there's ramifications for how we decide to have our children, or the things we decide to do. I'm not neglecting the fact that some women feel or have been told or even needed to have their baby in the hospital with medical tools, with anesthesia, etc. I'm not neglecting that fact, but we cannot ignore, okay, the ramifications of that. We cannot ignore the side effects of that. And that's what nobody talks about. Everybody talks about what led up to it, but nobody talks about the side effects of doing this and participating in this modern medicine. So yes, having your baby with anesthesia affects the fetus. Not only physically, because we can talk about how it physically affects the baby, right? Makes the baby drowsy, can impair cognitive function, right? That's the physical self. But you are a holistic being. Oh, who said they couldn't afford a birthday center? Grizzy just, I feel like I need to do some ASMR on that one.
You got to educate him on that.
You got to know how I do. Listen, I had my third child on Medicaid at a birthing center.
Yes.
Right, my third child on Medicaid at a birthing center. Right, so I don't, how am I going to say it? We kind of have, what are you laughing?
Because I can see you the screen.
Oh, yeah.
ASMR.
My ASMR. That's my ASMR. Right, so I don't want us to have this lack mindset. Anything that you want to do, you can do it. And if you don't believe that you can do it, why do you believe that? Right? We got to retrain our mindset. If you don't like the mindset that you have right now, throw it away and get a new one. Okay? We don't operate from a place of lack. We operate from a place of abundance. Everything that I need will be provided. Everything that I touch turns to gold. There is no lack in my life. The things that I want, the things that I need will appear. My good friend Lifewave said to us some months ago, he said, you know what? When you're so in tune and you're sick, you're so in tune with nature and who you are as a self. If you ever get sick, around your house, you will find that the herb that you need will sprout up. That's how in tune and connected we are in nature. And guess what? We notice that ourselves. Around our house, when someone is dealing with the ailment, we'll look in the yard and a new herb has sprouted up. We literally just talked about this maybe 3 days ago. Right? So you cannot continue to operate from a lack mindset. That's exactly where they want you to be. Because if you're continuously worried about things going wrong, or what you can't achieve, or what you can't get, or what you can't have, or what you don't deserve, or what you're not worth, if you're continuously living in that mindset, that's what you attract. As above, so below, as within, so without. That's just how it is. That's how it is. I didn't make the rules, y'all. This is literally science.
I'm watching the chat and I see that these subjects are very touchy because people still experience it. Like some people feel like I had to get the C-section.
Right.
Somebody said their blood pressure kept dropping and they like, so it's like also.
And my good friend just had that same issue. My good friend just had that same issue, and I will not name any names, but my good friend just had that same issue. And you know, I've worked with people who were fearful. Like I was like, yeah, you need to do the home birthing. You need to do the birthing center. And they had those same issues, right? And they were told, hey, you're going to have to go to the hospital. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. I called my personal team like, listen, my personal midwives, I need y'all to go see such and such and bring her back to herself so she can have this baby the proper way. Right, so they were able to bring her blood pressure down. They were able to help her stabilize herself so she's not dealing with so much anxiety. We can do this. You were made for this. Okay, you were made for this. But as I said, whatever may have happened, whatever you went through and what you experienced, that's okay. I'm not bashing you. I'm not bashing you, right? I'm not bashing you, please. I'm saying this with love. I'm not fussing at you. I'm saying this with love. I'm not fussing at you. Hopefully it don't seem that way. Okay? And a lot of us didn't know. Like my first 2 children, I had no idea of birthing centers. I didn't even know about any of these things. So we didn't know. What you don't know, you don't know. I totally get it. But what I want you to be aware of is that these things that we choose to do impact us. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. You are a holistic being. Holistic medicine, holistic remedies, natural remedies is all about being whole. So if we understand that everything is whole, you cannot separate the physical from the spiritual from the mental. Okay, so if you're doing something physically to your body, it is affecting you spiritually and mentally. If we believe that we are whole beings, right? We're a whole being. We are holistic beings. If something is happening to your whole body, it's happening to your whole experience, mentally, physically, spiritually. Okay, and that's why I came up with the Discover, Release, and Manifest blueprint for being a success. Because we have to discover these things. And again, I didn't put that post up today to bash anybody or make them feel bad about the choices they had to make or were forced to make, whatever the situation was. But I need you to discover why you're dealing with some of the things that we're dealing with, because we love to say these children don't listen. They're in their terrible twos. Like, who came up with that? Why would you program your child to say that they're terrible? If we understand, understand, right? If we understand that the life and death is in the power of the tongue, why would we say things like, oh, he's just dealing with his terrible two. She's in her terrible two phase. Why do we say these things? We got to be careful, because if you're doing things, saying things, it's happening to you physically, mentally, and spiritually. And so we got to go through the discover, release, and manifest phase, because you got to discover what is toxic around you. I'm not saying that you didn't have to do it or that you had no other choice, I acknowledge that, but we're not going to not acknowledge the side effects of that, right? So there are side effects from getting epidural. There's side effects from taking medication. There's side effects from getting ultrasounds. There's side effects from having the fluorescent lights in the hospital. There's side effects from getting these vaccinations. There's side effects. Yes, Grizzy.
Can you speak on the pains you still feel in your spine?
All right. So I've taken the epidural twice, right? I've been there, done that, and I still have pain in my back today. Like literally, I have to sit with a pillow right here. And these are the things that nobody talk about, right? I have to sit with a pillow. I have to be propped up because if I'm not, I still, you know how you get the epidural shot to all the moms out there? You know how you get the epidural and you feel the tingliness go through your back? Every now and then, I will feel that. I will feel that. Some of these medications can linger in the body 6 months to a year. Thank you, Grizzy. I appreciate that. 6 months to a year is sometimes longer. And then there are spiritual, mental things that we feel for a lifetime. And I read a comment on my post. They said, mothers don't, when I was talking about birthing trauma and how us going through these traumatic birth experiences, a C-section is a traumatic birth experience, by the way. Okay? It is a traumatic birth experience. Right? The baby not passing through the birth canal, which is natural order, that causes trauma. Remember what trauma is. I think people hear the word trauma and they think about like a car accident or they think about like a broken leg. Trauma, look it up. The definition of trauma is any stressful event. Any stressful event inflicts trauma. Right? So if you go through a spiritual or mental stressful event, you went through a traumatizing event and you need to be stabilized from that event. So I'm not bashing anyone again for the choice that they needed to make in the moment, but you have to prepare for balancing the family after that. And that's where we're going wrong at, because we're not acknowledging and discovering that these rituals are traumatic. They're stressful to the baby, to mom, to the family. We're not acknowledging that they're stressful. So because we haven't discovered that part, we can't release it. Does that make sense? If I'm making sense, say you're making sense, Arisha, in the comments. Don't forget, August 20th, we will have a Detox Your Child virtual conference, August 20th. We will have a Detox Your Child virtual conference, ADHD, autism, structure, discipline, communication. Okay, I'll make sure everything all right. We will have a conference, right? If you want to get information on that conference, text me 954-758-5223, 954-758-5223. Okay? So we're not discovering the traumatic things that we're experiencing, so we're not able to release them so that we can manifest harmony that we all should have. So we got to discover the traumatic things that we've experienced. Your birth is your first experience outside of the womb. If we are leading our birth experience, our first experience outside of the womb, if it's a traumatic one, that stays with you forever. And as I was saying, someone wrote in my comments, they was like, mothers, don't feel offended. The post wasn't to offend anyone, but don't feel offended. You can work towards, building strong relationships with your children. You can work towards being more confident towards your child to help stabilize that experience. But you can't totally release that experience. It's a part of you. Okay, it remains in what we call your bioplasmic field. Your bioplasmic field is a real field that surrounds your body. Chinese scientists have been able to confirm the bioplasmic field. They have been able to confirm your premovascular system, and that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day.
You said something about plasma.
Yes.
Remember plasma from being in the body. So correlate that too. Plasma in the body.
I got Grizzly sending me some notes over here, right? So real quick, I'm going to just touch on your biofield. So many people know about plasma, right? Many people know about plasma in the body, but there is a bioplasma field that surrounds your body, okay? And it records your emotions. It records your experiences, okay? It also can protect you from outward forces. There is a bioplasmic field that surrounds you, that surrounds the earth, that surrounds the sun, that surrounds the solar system, right? As above, so below. And now science has been able to quantify this. They've been able to measure it, because before they were saying that this is all made up pseudoscience. But now Chinese scientists have said, no, we've been able to track this, and people have been able to take pictures of it, okay? So your birth experience becomes a part of the record in your biosphere. It always stays with you. And that's why I said yesterday, we try to disassociate ourselves from our past events. So we like to say things, or I'm going to rise above this, or I'm going to rise to my higher self. There is no rising to your higher self. All of these things exist on the same plane. It's about which frequency you're on, but you cannot disassociate yourself from it. And that's something I had to learn myself. You don't disassociate yourself from your past hurtful experiences. It is what makes you. Okay, but you can change the frequency of your energy field. So with that being said, that's why I put that post up and I said, let's be very careful and let's be intuitive about how we birth our children. We got to change the narrative, because the birth experience for Africans in America has never been pleasant. The entire medical field for Africans in America has never been pleasant. So let's just get that understood. That's just like a common thing that we should all know. We know J. Marion Sims, the father of gynecology, he worked on enslaved African women without anesthesia. He killed their babies. So a lot of the tools that we're using today when we go to the gynecologists, these are tools that were invented by a man who traumatized dozens of African women. So that ritual of using those same tools that he invented today affects us, even if we don't know it. We can't even see it because we're not taught it. And we're not talking about it enough. But it's real. So we have to be very cautious. We have to just be aware of the birth experience. It needs to be a calm one. It needs to be a soothing experience for the mom and for the baby. As much as we can possibly make it, as soothing as possible, we need to do that. So that means if you don't feel comfortable in the hospital, look for alternative ways of birthing your children, right? You can do a birthing center. You can hire a doula. In fact, me hiring a doula was cheaper than having my baby in the hospital. Shout out to my doula, Doulas. Shout out to her. If you were in South Florida, I had my baby at Hollywood Birthing Center, and they take Medicaid. So if you're in South Florida area, okay, you can come. If you want to come to South Florida area, I highly recommend Hollywood Birthing Center. Okay. My midwife, Doulas, awesome midwife, to have my baby, my entire prenatal care, my birth, and my post care was only $5,000. It really was. And she's so lenient. She allows you to do any type of payment plan that you need. But my entire prenatal care, birth at my home with the water tub and all that. Some of y'all saw Goddess Be Born. I only paid $5,000 for that. Hey, and she will accept certain insurances. But even if you do decide to have your baby in the hospital, that's totally up to you. But what I want you to be aware of is the things that come with it, right? With birthing your baby using forceps. Okay, not only does it twist the head and can harm the nervous system, but that's something that happens physically. But what about what happens mentally and spiritually? That baby can feel that. That baby feels that that's abnormal. The baby was just in a warm, safe space inside the mom. Their first experience is being yanked by their head by a metal object. That's kind of traumatic for your child. So what do you think they're thinking? Because they are thinking. The language at that time is emotions. So what do you think is the emotion of the child? A doctor is pulling the baby out, a doctor that they probably don't recognize, their voice they don't recognize. They're in a strange place. There's the fluorescent lights that harm the cornea of the eye, right?
I don't think it hurts you. Language is emotion.
Grizzly, keep coming to the door. The language in the womb is emotions. So I'm not saying your baby has a full vocabulary, but the baby feels emotions, right? So what do you think that makes your baby feel? The baby's like, what the hell is going on? What's going on? Where's my mama? Why is my mama letting me go through this? What is this? What is this? What is going on? What is that feeling? Fear. So their first emotion outside of the womb is fear. That stays with them forever. That stays with them forever. So growing up, they may be shy. They may have issues around abandonment. And they may not even know why, right? So if we are, as parents, are emotionally intelligent enough to help our children understand this as they're growing up, that is a way that you can diffuse these emotions and not grow into adulthood with these emotions and not understanding why, right? So I have talked with my oldest daughter because I was not aware of these things when I was having children at 21 years old. Right? I was doing what everybody else was doing. I was doing what I was told. I was following the tradition. And I did not breastfeed my children. Breastfeeding is a bonding moment for children and their mom. It's a maternal bonding moment. That is true. That's a fact. It's a maternal bonding moment. Putting the baby on the breast and the baby looking at you, that is a maternal bonding moment. The baby feels safe. Okay, the baby feels sheltered. And imagine how that baby feels suckling on you or your wife or your girlfriend or your baby mama, your BM, whatever, right? Suckling on that breast. Imagine what feelings the baby feel at that time. Because remember, we're holistic beings. So it's not only about the physical. It's about the mental. It's about the emotional. It's about the spiritual, right? So that baby probably feels comforted. The baby feels nurtured, feels all warm and tingly and fuzzy, bonded to the child. Bonded to the mom. But when we cut that and we put a bottle into the baby mouth, we totally bypass that. We totally bypass that. So the baby and the mom don't properly, straight out of the womb, bond. And we just got to realize that. And I realized that. I didn't know at the time, but I realized that. And yes, my first two children, it's harder for me to bond to them than it is with my last three. 3 that I had outside of the hospital, 3 that I had at home, 3 that I breastfed. I love them all. But I noticed with inside of me, it's harder for me to bond. I have to almost, I don't want to say force, but I have to be very intentional about what I say, what I do, versus the other. It's like my maternal energy kicks in easier with the 3 that I was more bonded to. Does that mean that I love them less or that I'm a bad mom? Absolutely not. But if I don't pay attention to that, and if I'm not emotionally intelligent enough to analyze that and acknowledge that, then I miss an opportunity to help my daughter understand what she probably already feels. How many of us growing up in households where it seemed like, dang, mom, do you even like me a little bit? Like, why are you going at it with your daughter? Right? Why are you going at it with your son? Why y'all not on the same page? Why are you treating your daughter like an outsider? I've heard some moms talk to children worse than they talk to them on the street. And I'm not saying this is isolated to people that are breastfed and not breastfed, but I'm saying if we break that chain of bonding, it causes a ripple effect. And if we're not consciously aware of it, I get it. Some moms have issues with breastfeeding. Some moms may not have breasts. Some moms may have issues with producing milk. I get it. But that does not mean that you cannot be aware of what you're disrupting, what is being disrupted, even if you're not doing it intentionally. We still have to be aware, and that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's not to bash you or make you feel bad, but it's just to make you aware so that you can discover what you need to release. So I have to be very intentional with my 10-year-old and my 7-year-old. I'm like, listen, mommy was not as educated as I am today, right? I didn't want to breastfeed. It hurt. I didn't like it. And everybody around me was like, get that baby some Similac and call it a day. So that is what I did. So I have to apologize to her, and I remind her, I am working on this. Be open and honest. This is what emotional intelligence is about. I know I don't know everything, and I want her to know I don't know everything. And she may feel that our relationship could be better, and I'm telling her why it possibly isn't the best that it should be, as it should be. And I'm very open about that. I'm very open about her birthing experience. I'm like, listen, you were birthed in the hospital. When I was carrying you, I was going through a lot of stress. Me and your daddy was going at it. Like, we was arguing. I left. I went to a whole nother state. Like, all of that plays a role. When your baby is in your womb, they feel every emotion. That's why the wise folks say, don't scream while you're pregnant. Don't get mad while you're pregnant. Try not to make your woman mad when she's pregnant. Because those emotions affect the amniotic fluid. Your baby can not only see those emotions because the amniotic fluid will light up. Your baby can taste the amniotic fluid, so they can see sadness, they can taste sadness, and they can feel the sadness.
Wow, they ain't got the words. They can't talk.
They can't talk. Emotions are how they communicate with you. If y'all got some questions, drop them in the chat. I'm going to answer some questions. Put them in the Q&A section. Thank you, Tyson said, this is so insightful. Hey, yes, I can.
You sure?
Yes, I can see it right here. Oh, actually, I can't.
No, because you're not on yours.
Oh, okay.
So
hey, student loan doctor. How you doing?
Tell them to drop it in the chat.
Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Carol says, super insightful. Very important bonding and fostering relationship from Youth Bar. Listen, that's amazing. And don't feel bad. That's why I am an advocate for getting this information out. Somebody texted me today and they said, you are one of my favorite informationalists. And it's not just about me, y'all. It's about Surviving Vegan, because we have trained over 2,000 students, and I am for sure going to be looking within the Surviving Vegan community. Shout out to SVA. I want to bring some more content creators onto the platform, right? Onto the platform. So if you're a Surviving Vegan Academy student, please complete your work and get your certificate, because we will be reaching out to y'all soon. I've been seeing a lot of Surviving Vegan Academy students doing some wonderful work on socials, and it's time for me to not be the only teacher, right? Right, so I get it. I understand. Again, this is not the bash. I'm not trying to fuss at you, but I just want us to be aware so that we can be emotionally intelligent while we're raising these children.
I need some questions.
Right? And Greasy gonna give me some questions.
How does circumcision affect the baby?
How does circumcision affect the baby? Who said that one? Yes.
So can I speak from it?
Grizzly said he want to speak. Come over here. He said he want to speak on it.
No, I can.
But I just want to hold it like that.
You want me to hold it like that?
Yeah.
What's good, family? Listen, circumcision. My last son, we didn't circumcise him, and his penis is very, very tender. When you cut the penis, you are damaging the nerves of the child. Period. I don't care what religion, what. I don't care. The man was born with foreskin. Period. Mm-hmm. So when you do any damage to it, like we've talked about already, it's damage. So the sensitivity goes down. As a man, yeah, our penis is still sensitive, but it ain't as sensitive as that young boy that still has his foreskin. So I don't want to be cut. I wish I wasn't cut. That's just what it is.
Yes, it definitely is a traumatizing experience for the child. Okay, I don't know how circumcision worked in the 90s, but when I got my child circumcised in 2014, they took my child away from me, and this wasn't a stranger to me. This was my gynecologist. Like, he birthed my first two children, right? They took my child away from me, and oh, perfect. I didn't even tell you this, right? So they took my child away from me. And you know, I asked Poppy, which is my son who I'm talking about, 2014, he was maybe 2 weeks old. I was talking to him in the car about this, maybe about 3 weeks ago. And I was telling him this story. And out of nowhere, my 7-year-old, he is now 7 years old. My 7-year-old son said to me, "Is that when they strapped me down and cut me?" Y'all, I was driving the car. I turned all the way around. I said, "What did you say?" He said, "Was that when they strapped me down and they cut me?" I almost lost it. I'm so happy I was turning in my driveway because I had to shut off the car, and I was like, this is crazy. You remember that? And he wasn't saying it. Like, I didn't say anything about it. It was the first time I told this story, and he just said, "Oh, was this when they strapped me down and cut me?" Y'all, I literally lost it. And that's what I mean. These things stay with your children. And you know what we'll say? "Boy, you don't remember that. You can't remember that. You was only 2 days old. You was only 2 weeks old. There's no way you can remember that." Why do you think that we don't remember these experiences? Yes, we suppress them, but I work with my children with astral projection. I work with them on meditation. They are able to tap, and they are tap into themselves, and they are emotionally intelligent. I work with them with this. Maybe not as much as I should, but I do. They are aware of these things. So yes, I believe that it is traumatizing. Remember, we talked about trauma. What does trauma mean? Trauma means any stressful event. They took my child to the back. I heard my child screaming all the way while I was in the front waiting for him to come out. And when he came out, he looked at me like, what is this?
We got another question. Do you feed your youngest solids yet, like other than breast milk?
So my youngest, the question is, do you feed your youngest child solid foods yet?
Correct.
I tried to give Goddess solid food. She'll be 8 months on the 4th. I tried to give Goddess solid food. She's not ready. She doesn't like fruit. She doesn't even like vegetables. She only will eat seaweed. So I do give her seaweed every day.
She likes seaweed.
She loves seaweed. She will eat seaweed, but she just does not like fruits and vegetables yet. But Prince, he was another story. Prince was ready to eat by the time he was 6, 7 months, right? So I let them lead. If they're ready, yes, I give them solids. We try to give them pureed vegetables first. I give them pureed vegetables first and then introduce fruits second instead of introducing fruits first. Like, I know we love to give the applesauce, etc., but I don't want them to get hooked on the sugar. So even though it's healthy sugar, I give them vegetables first and then I will puree fruits next.
Next question, how long did you breastfeed?
How long did I breastfeed? So I would love to breastfeed, as long as possible. Prince wishes he can still breastfeed. I'm not about to be breastfeeding 2 babies. I'm not at that point yet. I ain't on that frequency. Okay.
Somebody said they finally got the SV graduate certificate.
Shout out. Who is that?
Jonah.
Shout out to Jonah. Just got your SVA certificate. Shout out to you. Yay. But I have been having children every 2 years, 2 to 2.5 years since 2012. So my duration of breastfeeding has only been 2.5 years for each child, starting with Charm to Prince to Goddess. I want to have one more. So hopefully it don't happen in 2 years though. I will breastfeed until they're 2.5, 3 years old.
Someone says, how can anyone overcome such trauma upon C-section? In 24 years for both the child and parents. I don't get the 24 years.
How can you overcome the trauma even though they're 24 years old? I believe that's what the question may say.
How can anyone overcome such trauma upon C-section?
Right. So remembering that is now a part of the person's life experience. That's number one. Just acknowledging that and accepting that. And don't beat yourself up about it. Right? Don't beat yourself up about it. It's a part of the life experience. What you want to do, what I would do in your situation, is I would be open and honest and have open communication. Communication is how we heal, right? Communication is what brings us closer together. Communication is how we learn. So I would have open communication with my son, if he was 24 years old, 7 years old, whatever, I would have open communication about that experience, what it meant, why I did it, why I shouldn't have done it if I don't believe I shouldn't have done it, what comes from it, what causes people to do it. I would just have open communication, right? And I myself would do research on the different type of nerve damage that happens. So you desensitize the penis when you cut it. Yes, you do desensitize the penis when you cut the foreskin, right? So then we have that can lead into so many other things, right? So the penis can still be sensitive, but you desensitize it. So guess what?
When I touch
Higher sex drive, right? Wanting to feel more. Want to get inside something more. We ain't gonna change this to no rated R, but
when I touch Prince, when I clean Prince, and you touch his penis, he can't take it. That's how I know. I never experienced it. You know, it's my first time being home and really like engaging the way I'm engaged. It's my second boy. I didn't really get a chance to experience that with my first son.
Mm-hmm. Poppy wasn't like that.
But he had already got desensitized.
Yeah, he was always desensitized because he got circumcised.
Prince is not like that.
No.
So it's a difference. When I touch him, he be about to go through the roof. He's like, do not touch. I be having to restrain him. I promise.
But yes, so the question was healing that trauma, right? So start with open line of communication, right? Become educated on, the nerve endings and what happens when you do cut the foreskin. And one of the biggest things is desensitization. And that psychologically, mentally can distort your sexual experiences.
We got what's the best way to fix hormonal imbalance?
What's the best way to fix hormonal imbalance? So what's the best way, right? My immediate thought was, what's causing the hormonal imbalance? We talked about this yesterday, right? So whenever the body is producing a symptom, so we've been told like hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, hormonal imbalances, all of these things are illnesses. They're not illnesses. Okay? Dr. Layla Africa said this. They are not illnesses. They are symptoms of malnutrition or mineral deficiencies, right? We've been told that these are illnesses. So we want to first find out which mineral deficiency is causing this hormonal imbalance. What is the hormonal imbalance? Is it high estrogen in the body or is it low estrogen in the body, right? Where is the imbalance? But most of the time it starts with a glandular issue, right? Most people think, thyroid, but through my research, a lot of imbalances start with the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, which is in the brain, which controls the thyroid gland, right? So that's where it starts. And my next thing I would do is figure out which mineral deficiencies cause that imbalance with that gland. So, for example, in the Surviving Vegan Academy, we talked about hypothyroidism. I believe we did hypothyroidism. And what did we find? We found that hypothyroidism is because of issues with cells that are in the pituitary gland. Okay, and vitamin D deficiency causes that imbalance in the gland. So it depends on what the hormonal imbalance is, and then you would look into what mineral deficiencies cause that imbalance.
Listen, shout out to the Instagram family. There's 184 people.
Shout out to the Instagram family, 184 people in our room.
We got 16 people on YouTube.
Shout out to YouTube.
And I'm not sure how many in Facebook. Facebook, we had a few. We had about a good 5 or 6 in Facebook.
What's going on? What's going on, y'all?
And
don't forget, we're doing this live because on August 20th, I'm doing it live because I just love being here and talking to y'all. That's just the God honest truth. And I'm doing a commitment to go live every day. But on August 20th, we are having a Detox Your Child conference, virtual conference, 4 to 6 hours of live training, ADHD, autism. It's not just going to be me teaching. We have a lineup of speakers. We even have a mom. Her name on Instagram is awesome, AUSOME _autism mom. She teaches other people how to bring their autistic children from nonverbal to verbal, how to get them to be social butterflies, as she says, and how to help them with communication. She's able to do that in 90 days. She will be a part of that conference as well. But what would you say, Grizzy?
I was wondering, somebody said this in the chat, and I'm looking at the Q&A, but somebody said, is it normal for your period to stop completely after going vegan, even after birth?
Okay, so when you say stop completely, I need clarification on that.
So we'll come back to that.
But this is why I need clarification. Let me tell you why I need clarification on that. Because are you saying that you're not menstruating, right? You're not having a menstrual cycle, or are you saying that there is not any blood? That's two different things, right? If you're not having a menstrual cycle, that is abnormal. You should have a menstrual cycle, because if you're not having a menstrual cycle, you're not going to be able to get pregnant, right? So you still should be menstruating, but the blood should decrease, right? So I went from bleeding from 5 to 7 days. Because as Queen Afua says, the more you bleed, the more you eat things that bleed, the more you will bleed. Shout out to Queen Afua. The great mother, Queen Afua. Yeah. She said, the more you eat things that bleed, the more you will bleed. I'll never forget that. Right? So your cycle, the amount of blood, and even if you research this, you should only release 3 to possibly 4.5 tablespoons of blood throughout your cycle. I used to do that every few hours. Right? So your entire menstrual cycle, you should only be losing or releasing 3 tablespoons of blood. That's it. I was bleeding for 7 days, 2 pads a day. Like, that was hemorrhaging.
And what is it now?
I may be spotting, and it's very light. It's not even like red. It'll be like spots of brown. Queen Afua even talks about it being clear.
How long have it been like that?
How long has my menstrual cycle been like that? I would say I went vegan. You know, I've been pregnant so much, you know, you don't have no menstrual. But when I do have my menstrual cycle come on, it's been like that ever since I went vegan. You know, maybe like a year or 2 in, it started to lighten up because I understood how to go vegan and how to do it the correct way. But yes, no more than 4 tablespoons throughout your whole menstrual cycle. Anything more than that is called period hemorrhaging.
They're being here now. We got 206 people.
What's up, Instagram?
Question. It says, my daughter is 31. She's pregnant with her first child. She wants to birth at home and breastfeed.
Yes.
What information do you have for her?
Okay, so I would give you a starter pack. These are things that I think that you have to have going into birthing. And this was the question: what advice do I have somebody that's having their first child at home and they want to breastfeed?
31 years old.
31 years old. Here's a starter pack. I would tell your daughter that she has the power to birth this beautiful baby. This life-changing experience is going to be one of the best for her. You know, I would want her to do yoga every day or every other day. I did prenatal yoga. Prenatal yoga just helps so much. My good friend, I haven't tried it yet, but my good friend has introduced me to hypnobirthing. So that's the next thing I would do with my next child. Shout out to any mothers. Give this young lady some encouragement in the chat if you've done hypnobirthing. But my starter pack, right? You absolutely need yoga. You got to have yoga. I don't know what I would be without yoga. Yoga and stretching. Number 2, after the baby's born, this is my starter pack. I have to have a water filter, right, for taking baths, right? So you get a water filter off of Amazon. I get a water filter for the shower, and I get a water filter for the bathtub so that I can get filtered water when I cleanse my baby. I take the baby a bath with pure clove, okay? So I get organic cloves, not the powder, not the one from the grocery store. Go to people like LifeWave. He sells it. That's a great herbalist, and he grows it. It's somebody I trust. LifeWave_IM on Instagram. Get clove from him, okay? And I simmer the clove on the stove, and that's what I use for the bath water. First few weeks of life, I give a bath maybe every 3 days, every 4 days. That's one thing in my starter pack. Another thing in my starter pack is, I get a de-choker. Shout out to that. Got to get you a de-choker. A de-choker, I never had to use it, but for any reason, if your child ever chokes, you need a de-choker. I also would say make sure you have a good doula, a good midwife, one that is pro-choice. Start looking now for a pro-choice pediatrician. I do not play about pediatricians trying to force me to do something I don't want to do. Absolutely, you would not do that to me. So find you a pro-choice pediatrician. And one way I found a pro-choice pediatrician was simply talking to a lot of midwives, right? Get into midwife communities on Facebook. Find midwife communities in your community. And in those type of communities, people talk about these things, right? So find a pro-choice pediatrician. And don't be afraid to always ask for informed consent. Ask for informed consent when you go to these doctors and they're trying to pressure you to doing something that you don't want to do. And they're trying to make it seem like this is the only way. Give me some informed consent. What's that? What's this, Grizzly?
What's the seed? The white seed? Passion fruit?
This soursop? What's this?
Plum and what's the other one? The orange, the yellow one.
Yellow one?
Passion fruit you bought?
Dragon fruit?
Dragon fruit.
Oh, okay.
Well,
that's good. That tastes real good. That's good. Here, you can taste it. That's for me? Okay. So pro-choice pediatrician. Definitely will get one of those. And again, go into the doula communities, go into the midwifery communities in your community on Facebook, however you find them. I would read the CDC website and I would look at the vaccine injury table. Okay, make sure you read that. Make sure you read the vaccine schedule. Make sure you read all the ingredients of all the vaccines. This is all posted on the CDC website. You need to read those things and make an informed decision for yourself. That's a part of my starter pack.
I'm gonna say, she asked what this is, but still sipping.
It was good. I trust him that much, y'all. I do. So yeah, I would do all of that if to decide whether you want to participate in that. I personally did not get the vitamin K vaccine. I did vitamin K drops. If you're doing a birthing center, I think you say at home, but if you're doing a birthing center, make sure the birthing center again is pro-choice. One final thing that I would say that you need to have, again, you got to stay stocked up on some clove, stay stocked up on some aloe vera plant. I keep that in the house for any type of eczema that the baby may have or any skin issues. Aloe vera blended with some warm water can create a great mask for the baby. It's something that I do. Just test it on a patch of skin first to see if the baby has any reactions to it. No information I give is meant to replace that of a licensed physician. No information I give is meant to replace that of a licensed physician. SVA knows why I'm saying that. We got to have those disclaimers. But these are things that I love to have and I like to have. I personally didn't take prenatals, right? I am so in tune with my baby, like we're connected by the umbilical cord, right? So the baby will literally tell me the things that I would need. So God has told me that I needed B12, right? God has told me I needed B12. I need to up my B12. So I took that up B12 and I up iron as well. But that's a whole... Grizzy just had to run out to get the baby. That's a whole spiritual connection. That's another conversation. But those are kind of like the things that I think that you would need. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, get a humidifier, right? Put your distilled water in your humidifier. I think I'm missing some things, but that's a good starter pack, I hope. Brittany said, I haven't taken prenatals either. Them reviews are wishy-washy for me. Yeah, and I was fine. I mean, I didn't do any ultrasounds. I didn't do any of that. The baby is fine. I did my best to calm my nerves and believe everything was going to be all right. I made sure I ate a diet that was balanced in protein, carbs, and fat. Don't overstress yourself like, oh, is the baby getting this, the baby getting that? Stick with the basics. As long as you're doing protein, carbs, and fat, different varieties, healthy, nutritional packed protein, carbs, and fat, you will get all the nutrients that you need. Okay, unless you have some other symptom, you should be fine. Now, any other symptom, preeclampsia, high blood pressure, there may need to be some alterations, but the basic things, protein, carbs, and fat, different nutrient levels of protein, carbs, and fat, nutrient-dense foods, you will be fine. I did it 5 times, y'all. 3 times vegan. I want to know about the menstrual cycle detox. This 6-day period is dumb. Definitely hit the link in my bio. Okay? Hit the link in my bio and get the PMS and heavy bleeding detox. When is the next class? Thank you for that question, Positive Vibes. The next class, are you talking about SVA? SVA, I'm not taking students right now. But you will be able to join. We will do a class. We'll do a big conference every month. For the rest of the year, we'll be doing a big conference every month. One day out of each month, we'll do a big class. Again, 4 to 6 hours of training. The focus for August is children, right? That's something that we have not done yet. We have not focused on autism, ADHD, structured communication, recipes specifically only for children. That's something that we never did. So that is what we'll be doing in August. Text me 954-758-5223 and you will be on the list, and I'll make sure you get the link when the link opens up. And that'll be August 20th from 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the conference will start. Yes, I did say the aloe vera plant. Okay. All right, so I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all's reading the comments. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate love y'all, as my good friend Sister Keisha says. I look forward to continuing this discussion. Again, August 20th, we live, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please send me a text message. So that you guys can stay connected with me. Shout out to Grizzy for making some dragon fruit. This thing looks amazing and it tastes just as good as it looks, y'all. One final thing I want to say before I go. Make sure y'all wake up in the morning. Y'all doing y'all detox. Okay? Do your detox in the morning time. Even if you don't do it the whole day, at least get it in the morning, in the rising, right? Breaking your fast, breakfast, detox. When you wake up in the morning, don't overthink it. What type of detox should I do, Arisha? What type of detox? You need to only ask yourselves one of these two questions. When you're trying to figure out which type of detox you want to do, right? First you want to say, do I need to release something or do I want to stabilize? Do I want to release some waste from my body or do I want to stabilize my body? Am I sick? Am I dealing with an ailment or illness? I want to stabilize or do I want to release? Stabilize or release. If you say, hey, I haven't pooped in 3 days, I need to be releasing, you need to go with fruits. Okay, fruit detox. Wake up in the morning and say, I don't feel so good. I want to stabilize my body. You want to go with vegetables or herbs. Okay, don't overthink it. You're just starting out. I get it. Do not overthink it. What should I do? This herb? Should I do this fruit? Don't overthink it. Just ask yourself a question. Do I want to stabilize my body or do I need to release something from my body? Okay, if you want to release your body, what you need to do, drop it in the comments. If you want to release something from your body, what do you need to detox with in the morning? If you want to stabilize your body, what do you need to detox with in the morning? You need to be detoxing up until 12 p.m. Detox up until 12 p.m. When you wake up in the morning, your body is naturally releasing waste. You're naturally releasing waste. That's why you poop. That's why you pee. You should be pooping. You should be peeing when you wake up. Right? Your body is already letting you know, hey, I'm naturally releasing waste. Don't go adding waste to the body. Bacon, egg, and cheese, croissant, IHOP pancakes. Right? Don't go adding waste to the body. McMuffins and iced latte coffee, Starbucks and all these things. Don't go adding waste, Dunkin' Donuts. Don't go adding waste to the body. The body is naturally trying to release waste. Right? So that's how we end up with chronic constipation. Part of it is having a low fiber diet, but also adding waste. We're not following the circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm tells you what? SVA. Let me see. SVA. Y'all in the chat? Circadian rhythm tells you what? We know that meal pairing tells you how to eat. We know that 70-20-10 tells you what to eat. And we know that circadian rhythm tells you when to eat. Okay, 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. is your detox time. When you wake up in the morning, do I want to release? Do I want to stabilize? If you want to release, go look in your fridge and see what type of fruit you got in your fridge, excluding bananas. Don't detox with bananas. That is not a detox, all right? Pick one fruit and you detox on it until 12 o'clock. Drink you some water. Blend that fruit up. Blending the fruit is best, okay, because you get the fiber and it's readily absorbed into the body easily. If you're going to do a vegetable, pick you one vegetable and detox on it until 12 o'clock. Don't overthink it. Okay, pick you a herb. If you got herbs in your cabinet, get one herb, pick that herb, do it for 7 days in a row. Pick that one fruit, do it for 7 days in a row. Pick that one vegetable, do that one vegetable 7 days in a row, and then pick another one after that. Okay, and then as you realize your body getting better, changing, you realize things that are working for yourself, take notes of what's working, what's not working. Okay, if you specifically want to get rid of parasites, I'm gonna get off. If you want to get rid of parasites, go with some papaya seeds, blend it up, tablespoon, and you good to go. Right? Don't forget, August 20th, Detox Your Child. Send me a text message if you want the link. 954-758-5223. Peace, love, and prosperity, y'all. It's been amazing. Love y'all and appreciate y'all. Talk soon.